Hey guys, what's going on? It's Benjamin, xBenJamminx. Please have your Excel open and either FanDuel or DraftKings page open. I want you to be able to follow along and
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Benjamin.
All right, so I'm just going to wait for a few people to get in here. Everyone see me? Are we good? Write something if you can see me. Can you hear me? Everything good? Just want to make sure real quick. All right, looks like we got a few viewers in here. All right, we're good. All right, so you can ask any questions you want and I'll try to respond. I'm not an expert by any means in Excel, but I've taught myself enough to be competent with it and be able to use it the way that I want. So this is primarily for people who have zero Excel knowledge, for people who just want to learn real quick how to get started and get a little bit comfortable with it, and how to open up a page of stats and make it readable for the average viewer. So that's what I want to kind of get across here. If you follow me, you know that I give out tons of different information. I give out articles, I do videos, I do this stuff all the time. I put out all the different Fantasy Lab God mode trends and stuff like that, but that's a hazy area right now, so I've stopped doing that. But by the end of the weekend, I'll figure out what my new plan is and hopefully start doing stuff like this, you know, that's more like tutorial-like and where you could follow along and ask questions and stuff. So I'm going to show you my page and then we'll get started from there. Guys, have either FanDuel or DraftKings open, but right now I'm going to start on FanDuel. And what I'm going to do is show you how to download the players list for the day and find quick value by sorting and filtering the columns and color coordinating them. So let's go right now. I'm going to show you on my screen. I'm going to make sure you all can see my screen before I move on. So just say anything in the chat letting me know you could see it. I'm not going to move on until we do. I just need to make sure you guys can actually see everything. I actually don't know what kind of delay this is on either, but I need some confirmation. All right, we good? We good? Okay. So right now, what we'll do is go to FanDuel. I was actually setting up one of my all value lineups, which is I go and play the cheapest actual player that I would use for that day. Like just in a GPP, you know, I'm not going to guarantee that I would use these guys, but these are the cheapest possible plays I would use at each position. And I would do a whole lineup at that. And then I would build up from there depending on who I liked or didn't like. And I usually send that out. So once I complete this, I'll send it out for everybody. But if you look right here, there's something that says download players list right above find a player. Now, what I want you guys to do is click on that because it has it externally exports all this information right here into Excel for you. So just click on that. And if anyone has any questions, let me know. Click on that and then just open up that page right there. All right. So what if you have a spreadsheet already open, what you would do is you could take all this information, import it to your spreadsheet, and then kind of start messing around with it. But what I'd like to do is just show you guys how to manage this page very quickly, how to set up columns that are sortable, how to add filters to those columns, and how to add what we call conditional formatting, which will color coordinate everything based on what you like. So these are some things I'll be showing you guys real quick. Let's see what we got here. All right. No problem, T-Roy. Glad I can help, brother. Okay, so here, I was already setting up my MLB one for the season, so you guys can get a little sneak peek at that. If you like MLB at all, these are some great statistics that I have from Fangraphs. Right here, like this is outside the zone swinging at, this is inside the zone swinging at, this is contact outside the zone, inside the zone, how hard they hit the ball. So I have this for batters and I'm going to have it for pitchers and everything. It's going to be real cool. So I'll definitely be sharing that kind of stuff with you guys when I make it and finalize. So what we would do is, all right, I'm also going to be showing you like hotkeys, different ways to manage around quickly. So what I want you to do right now is let's just get rid of some information we don't care about at the moment. First of all, you know, we see this stuff right here, the injuries, but we're not going to worry about that, because if we find someone we like and then we go and see that they have an injury, we'll just move on. So left click and select both of these columns, and right click and delete. So let's just clear this out of the way. We don't need it. This is the FanDuel ID, what FanDuel uses now for applications to identify each player when they're exporting multi-entry. So we're going to do the same thing. Left click the column, so where the number is, right click it, and then delete it. So we're just getting this out of here. So what I really want to do is kind of put it in the order that I feel most comfortable looking at it. And now, granted, this is very, very basic information I'm showing you guys, but once you come up with more stats that you like, you know, you could find different sites and import that kind of information. And this is all manually imported. Eventually, you know, we can try and do Visual Basic macros and stuff, but I'm still learning that stuff. So what I would do here is, I know I want this position to be in front of their name, because I want their first name to be the thing I see most to the left. So I'm going to right click the column and cut it. Now I'm going to take that and I want to put it right in front of the last name, so in between C and D. So I click D because I want it to be inserted to the left of that column, and that's how you know where it will be inserted, to the left. You right click that and insert cut cells. All right, so now we know we want position here, but what's missing that I like to have next to the name? Salary, right? So we'll do the same thing. Right click F, go to cut, and then let's see. Sometimes I'll put it here, sometimes I'll put it here. It really depends. It doesn't really matter though. So for argument's sake, let's just throw it right here in front of the fantasy points, insert cut cells, boom. All right. So no one here deals with decimals in this order. You know, like we usually go up to the 10th or 100th place or whatever. So we'll just do this and select the whole row, left click it, go up here to number. And, you know, if you have different things you want to sort by, format by different specifications, this is where you'll do it. You can go to more number formats, but we're going to go right to format right here, number. That's going to give you the 2 decimals. If you want more or less, you can use these right here, increase or decrease decimal, right? So if you wanted just an even number right there, you can do that. But I like to do it right here, just in case there are numbers that are close. What we'll do now is just center that column. I like these numbers centered. I also like salary centered. I also like position centered. Actually, this too. So I like all the numbers that I do centered. These is nice. We either need just this or this. I mean, depending on your basketball knowledge. If you look at LaMarcus Aldridge and think that he's on New Orleans, you're going to need a lot more videos than just this Excel. But let me check back here. All right, no questions. All right, moving on. Okay, so I like that they have the played here. That's a good thing we could use that some other websites don't have, because then we could do things per game if we wanted to import assists, steals, rebounds, and that stuff that I'm going to show you a spreadsheet I've already made, and you could see the detail that I put into it. And you all can do the same thing by just putting a little time and learning how to do it fluidly, right? So we have it set up exactly how we want in terms of positioning. Now, if you want to, you know, spread these out, you can either left click and move them manually right here, right, the columns, or you can just make sure it's right here, you know, center, so you can move it, and then double click it, and it'll go to whatever the biggest name is. So do that for the names, just so you can see what you're working with. Position, it'll shorten it. There you go. Salary, it'll shorten it. And this is how you can get things, you know, really extended, so you could see as many columns as possible. I always try to keep them tight. So now what we'll do is just give a little bit of color formatting, and then we're going to add like a sorting function, filters, sorting and filters, right? So they're two different things, sorting and filtering something, but it's the same way to create it, I guess. So first we'll go here, left click any one of these and drag it. Now, if you don't want to do that, if you want to use your keys, like I'm using the positional keys right now on the keyboard, you can go up to here. And this is stuff I like to do a lot. Hold shift and control at the same time. So hold them down right now, and then just click the right arrow key once. And that brings you to the end. You could do the same thing from this side, hold it down and click left. Or if you want to do it just from one column over, you could start there or there the same way. So what we're going to do is select them all and just give it some color. So this is background of the box. What we're going to do is put black just because I like it. And then we're going to put white colored font. And this is the way I like to look at things. I don't like the white background really. So now you can select all of these. You know, you can do Control Shift down if you want. You could do hold Shift, go over one so it selects the column. Hold Control and then go down and select both columns. You could do all of that, but a little bit quicker and more advanced way is just to right here select Format Painter, right? So just select whatever box you want to format or copy, click Format Painter, and then you just go down and select all the boxes you want to change to that color. Bang. So that'll do it. Whatever you have formatted there. So any questions? No. Okay. Moving on. Let's see. So now what we can do if we really wanted to get fancy, we can we could change the colors of each one of these positions, but that's a little bit more advanced than I want to do right now. So what we'll do is go by what everybody usually looks at. So if you open up FanDuel and that's all you use as a resource, and you know you're not someone who uses that advanced stats, you don't play as much or whatever, and you just want to kind of start getting whatever slight edge you can, this is a good place to start to find value. So this is where I first started myself and finding my own value before I started building up spreadsheets and looking at advanced stats, right? So let's select this whole column the way that we know how to do. Just left click where the lettering is. All right, so what that does is it'll select the entire column, even ones that we're not using. You could do that if you don't expect to add anything else down here, which I don't. If you do, if you're working with other numbers or you just want to do it like that, we know now that we can start right here in this box, hold Control and Shift, and just press the down key. It brings you right to the bottom. All right, so that's it. If you want to keep it properly formatted and make sure it's clean, that's the way to do it. The other way is if I'm doing something really quick and I just want to see it, I'll just click there and do it and not even worry about it. I save myself milliseconds, but with the amount of stuff that I do every day, those milliseconds add up over years, I like to think. But I'm probably way too young to be thinking like that. So we have this selected, right? Now we go to conditional formatting. And now once I found out about this, my life with spreadsheets changed. Okay, so first I'm just going to show you some really cool things you could do. You can pick icons and put directionals on it. All right, so let me actually widen this a little so you can see everything I'm doing. We'll put this over here. So you could put things like this, right? So it puts it in a certain percentage or margin of your choice. There's a default for now. It's top 100, bottom 0, middle 50, but you could change it if you want. There's different things you could do with it if you want. This is more arrows, so there's not just those 3. You know, you get a little bit more separation in there. No colored. I like to use these kind of things. These are cool. These Wi-Fi bars I use. So these are just different things you can use. But what I do most of all is color scales. Okay, so there are 2 that I use the most, and I'm going to show you both applications right now. So if you go to the third one at the top, this will have your typical highest number is green, worst number is red. So the higher the better. We know with fantasy points, the higher you score, the better you do. So let's choose that. Now we're going to select salary, and we know that the more expensive someone is, the worse it is. So we will use the opposite, which is directly to the right. This is red at the top. So the higher you go, the worse it is. So we can do that. But what I would usually do is I would change up the numbers a little bit. So actually, I don't know. It depends how it comes out. I would probably get rid of all these guys at the bottom fantasy points per game that are less than like 10 per game or something, because this gives 0, where I would rather have the scale a little higher up. So what I would do there, if you guys really want to know. Oh, first, actually, I got to show you this anyway. So we'll select this just like we did getting the row, right? We go to A and then hold Control Shift, press right. That'll select the whole thing. Now what we're going to do is go to Sort and Filter. Now this is very important, and you can mess this up if you start adding different columns in and out, but I could show you exactly how to manage that. So we would click Filter. Bang. Now that's very important because now we can sort or filter out anything we don't want. Okay, so let's say we want to see the cheapest by position, right? We want to see who is the cheapest person. So we'll go to smallest to largest. This will sort all the players who start at 3,500 because that is the cheapest on FanDuel. Okay, so do we want Jeremy Evans, Ernest Varejao, or Robinson? No, no. So let's filter these guys out right here, and this is what you're looking at. There's easier way to do this, but I'm just showing you just the basic manual way to do things, right? So let's just do it up to like 7. Okay, that's fine. Now it just takes out all those players. We could do it where, all right, we only want to see number filters. We don't want to go through manually for each one. We want to only show numbers that are greater than 10. It'll only show us those numbers now, right? So let's sort the fantasy points per game back to the top. And now we got rid of a lot of the bottom players. You know, these are some players that you may be able to find some value in or something if you dig in there, but most of the time they're not going to be great. If you look at these guys, you know, they're just not good players for the most part, unless you consider Boban elite. Any questions? Good. So let's keep moving on. So now that we've done that basicness, we just got a little bit out of there. What I want to show you is this value formula. First of all, let's put everybody back. So I would select all. I want to make sure that everyone's in here, because if you run a formula while it's condensed like that and you don't have these players in there per se, you're going to have like right here, 112 is hidden. When you expand and bring it back, all the formula columns are going to be messed up. So whenever you do formulas, you want to make sure no filters are on. You could have it sorted. That doesn't really matter. So whenever you want to do anything regarding a formula and you want to do it by hand, you type in equals. That starts your formula going. Now, what I like to do is I like to consider everything an algebraic formula, algebra, you know. So you would just put a parentheses in there, because if you do any type of adding, subtracting, multiplication, dividing, or anything like that, you want to have it organized using parentheses. So what you can do is select these boxes instead of, you know, trying to look, you know, which one is Dwayne Wade, and then you have to go, all right, that's D. Where is it? D13. You can just click on it and it'll put it in for you. So what I like to do is I will go with fantasy points per game divided by salary, close that off, and then it comes up with a number here. Now this is a value, and I like to put it in a little bit more readable terms. So what I will do is times it by 10,000. Now I started off going by 10. All right, I don't like the way that looks. 100, I don't like the way that looks. And then what I came up with is I like it like this, right? But we know we don't like it when it's in those decimals, so we'll select the whole row, go to number, good. Now, you never want to sort columns without having a name up top, so let's just name it value, all right? So now you might be saying, all right, well, I don't want to put in that formula for each individual player, and the way I would respond is you don't have to. So you would click right here, this box, and just drag it down with the left pointer, right? So make sure it turns to that black, hold it, drag it, make sure you can move it different places. This will drag your formula down. You bring that all the way down to the last person. It'll usually kind of stop it for you. All right, that adds in your formula for the value. Now, you can't sort this, so what we need to do is go here, select the whole row. So we're holding Control, Shift, left, and then we will go to sort, turn off the filter by clicking it again or clicking clear, and then turn it back on. So if you remember the way we copied this format of color onto here is we just click, select this with the left click, format painter, and then just click where we want it, all right? But for this row, we want this row to be shaded. So we'll go select that. Oh, look, this guy's not in there. Let's get rid of Kevin Looney, whoever that is. Let's get rid of these two guys as well. Whoever these people are. All right, I'm just getting rid of anyone that I know I'm definitely not even going to look at today. All right, bang. I like Josh Richardson, so we'll stop there. So it looks like no one under there that I would play. So what we'll do again, we'll go here, go right to the bottom, Control Shift, click down key, and then we will color scale it. The best is green, the worst is red. All right, so then this is a value formula. This sorts it by value. This is a great way to find players who may be undervalued. This is a way to find players who maybe is better than what they're doing, and you see some regression. Like I remember Zaza Pachulia at one point was putting up like 30 points every game, so he's due for some regression. John Lure, if he starts to get playing time, he was averaging 18 points a game over 49 games. So this is good stuff. Brandon Knight, I'm pretty sure we know he's out. So this is just a very basic way to find some quick value and see who pops out. You got some of the Golden State guys right here, Tim Duncan, Caspi. So this is just a very basic way of finding your own value. Now, there are other people who do this, but if you don't understand how to just kind of pick and choose out of that, the best way I can explain it is when you open up FanDuel, you're looking at the price next to the number, the points per game, right? So this is the easier way to visualize instead of looking and seeing, having to scroll all the way down just to find it, but seeing, all right, this guy's 3,600. He averages 18 points a game. But in your head, you're going to be looking at that and not really, you have to do this calculation in your head. All right, is that good enough for me to hit value, right? And what this is this guy, this is basically 5x value, the 50. So if we, put that down right there, that's 4.9 value. So he's been averaging 17 points per game, and at $3,600, his value would be an average of 4.96 times his salary. So if you're looking for 5x, that's a quick way to find it. So if you wanted to look into these matchups tonight, this is a good place to find some maybe underpriced guys just based on what they have done over the course of the season in their games played. Now, that was just a very basic tutorial. I'm going to save it just so I could bring it up later if people have any questions on it. But what I'm going to show you right now is one that I made myself. Well, the very last one that I made when I used to do it. If you want to find cheat sheets that are already made, you can go to Daily RotoSharks. I work with CG and we work on spreadsheets together and stuff. So he releases projections every day for free. He's a good guy. Check him out over there. Also, Beast DFS. He is incredible and gives out tons of free information and has the best spreadsheet. So I'll here, let me just shout them out real quick. So go to Daily RotoSharks, and that's actually where I have my God Mode article up. If you don't know about it, you can go there and read it. So dailyrotosharks.com and then Beast DFS. If you don't know about Beast DFS, you are definitely missing out. He puts out some of the best information in the entire community, and it's for a free Excel file. So I'm going to show you his real quick. He puts it up there every day. This is for 2 days ago. He puts it out as often as he can. He's good people, so I have no problem representing him real quick. Let me just open this up and show you how crazy his is. Nothing compared to anything I have. I'm actually reaching out to him to learn what kind of Excel he can teach me, because he is just incredible with it. So while that loads, oh, there it is. So this is someone who I've talked to on a few occasions. He has incredible information, and we're going to be trying to do some kind of collaboration in the future with whatever we're doing. But this is great stuff. He has all different kinds of info. Just click OK through everything there. Double doubles, triple doubles, double DVPs. He has floor ceiling analysis of everybody, fantasy points. He has an Altered Beast cheat sheet where if you wanted to type somebody in or a player pool that you like, everything gets analyzed here. It looks like this isn't for today, but all this stuff would be filled in. Same thing with, if you did this. So if you had a player pool and you wanted to see real quick how many times they go over their potential to hit value, a point potential to hit value, he has all their minutes and everything, all their DVPs. So this is an incredibly extensive thing. And then if you put your entire player pool in here, then and you install your solver, you click solver, and then it would create lineups in here for you. It's a free optimizer. It'll show you all of these different analyses as a cheat sheet for the lineup you're looking at. It'll show you all the Vegas and add up all the totals and have sweet spots for that. So I definitely recommend looking through this, and I still haven't been able to get enough information out of this. There's just unlimited amounts of information, and he has his own metrics as well that I'm still trying to learn. So reach out to Beast DFS, reach out to Daily RotoSharks. They're good people. So let me just show you real quick how we would do it with DraftKings. Create a new lineup, go to NBA, and you could do this even if you're playing. You don't have to create a new one, but at the bottom of the player pool, you go to export to CSV, you click it, and then you do the same exact thing over here. Whatever you want. You could run through this stuff so fast. All you got to do is just understand what you want out of it. Look how quick I can do this. Bang. Take this right there. Like that. So all I did was click this, click format painter, and then do my bottom down. So real easy. So that's DraftKings. And then let me just show you one that I created last time that I was making them. Right before New Year's. So this is what I used to do for everybody. I used to put out all these projection sheets, and I would put them out for free along with my articles. And then I've always been transitioning and just doing new things and putting out all different kinds of information. So whatever I do, it leads me up to these points. So I came out with that value sheet, the value metric that I told you about. I turned it into a number. I don't have the formula here just because of the way things turn out when I want to import different types of information. So this is a way that I set up literally a projection worksheet. Anyone have questions? No. So I set up a projection worksheet like that with the values. And what I did is I took Basketball Monsters projections and their information, right? So all I did was just export it to a CSV the way we saw before with the FanDuel and DraftKings stuff. And then I would copy it onto here. And then I would take Fantasy Cruncher and the information they have, because they have, you know, different kinds of information. And then I would make it a spreadsheet, a cheat sheet with, you know, a combination of these metrics and a combination of these metrics. And if you want to go back and look at them, you could just pause or rewind the video on where I had those. So this is a regression sheet, regression formula that I worked out that showed if players were going to perform better or worse coming up. And I did that by using different metrics of their 3-game, 5-game, and 10-game analysis. And the way that I did that is I would figure out here, let's see, the regression is Y minus V. So the full season minus their last 3 games. Okay, so what they've been averaging on the full season minus what they've been averaging the past 3 games. So that's a very, very basic regression formula, which means if this is the average, statistics will always regress back to the mean. So if someone is averaging 5 points less over the last 3 games compared to what they've been averaging over the whole season, odds are statistically they're going to do better coming forward to get them to come back to that 42. And you could analyze that here. So over the last 10, who is this? Let's see. Sacramento versus Philly. This must have been Rondo. Oh, this is Cousins. Interesting. And he was at 9,800. So at one point, this is wild to look at now. Cousins was averaging 37 fantasy points per game over the last 3 games. So on December 30th, for the last 3 games before this, he had been averaging 37. My regression statistic has him +5. If you had started playing him from this date, you would have seen him going off. Every article I ever wrote where he was playing that night, I said play DeMarcus Cousins. And you can go back and look, and it's pretty wild. But this is a very basic statistic that I used. And I never really got into trying to elaborate on it. I saw that it worked pretty well. Sometimes you might have something like that where it's just crazy stand out. Right here, Rondo was averaging 39 on the season. The last 3 games, he was averaging 27. And it's safe to say that Rondo ended up performing very well after that, if you remember his span where he was just averaging crazy amounts of points. So I actually haven't done this in a while, since before the New Year's. I guess for New Year's it was new year, new me, tried to do new things. But if you want, I can do a little bit more of an in-depth analysis another time, showing you guys how I imported different types of information and created one cheat sheet. To do this would usually take maybe a half an hour. It doesn't take very long. Once you kind of get the hang of everything, it's easy to do. You can see all the different types of conditional formatting that I have. You know, we have the arrows, and we have different types of arrows here. While I also have the color scale, so I have both there. Here on floor and ceiling, I decided to put it as data bars, so it fills it in with different colors. Usage, I use the red light, green light, yellow light. I would do the same thing probably with pace. I don't think I have pace here, just because of the way it factors out. I have usage right here. Oh, it looks like this formula was this was a formula I made. Okay, so I'll show you guys the analysis of that real quick. Any questions? No, we're good. Okay, I keep doing that. All right, so this is taking P. So what I did right here, right? Let's just delete this. Let's just say there's nothing there. What I would do to start this up is go equals, parentheses, right? All right, so I put in, it's a blank sheet. And I'm saying, all right, what do I want to do? What do I want to figure out right now? And how do I want to do it? All right, so let's just say, all right, this seems to be average usage divided by minutes per game. So it's probably just something I wanted to come up with. All right, who has the highest usage and plays the highest minutes, right? That seems like something you would want to know. So basically, you could just set this up real quick and hold on, that's not the formula. So the formula is P plus O divided by 2. So I actually did the average of these two. All right, so what I did is equals, parentheses, wait, where's usage? Why is this? All right, so let me just delete that. Equals, parentheses, that plus that divided by 2. All right, that's just finding the average. Now you could sort this and just look. All right, here we go. We got the guys who are averaging the highest usage and the highest minutes. And look at this. How crazy is that? That the two guys who I have very high with the regression that night, they were also in a fantastic matchup playing them. So like this night, I must have been all over Rondo and Boogie. I can't imagine me not being all over them. Look at these ceilings and the floors. This is consistency factor. So this is rest. If you look, I just have all different kinds of stuff in here. But the way I made the projections myself is I would do different types of things, but I'm going to show you the most basic way, not including my own regression or not including my matchups or usage or anything like that. I would take basketball monster projection. I would put fantasy cruncher projection. And if you look, these are very different. We have some very different numbers here. And these people use both of these sites to create lineups and to create multi-lineups. So this night, like Basketball Monster's more on DeMarcus than this one. So if you're on Basketball Monster making a lineup and you make one with 100% Cousins, they have him projected much higher than Rondo. Than on Fantasy Cruncher, and then Rondo is the opposite with that. So what I like to do is create an average of just those two. So what people will call that is an aggregate. They'll take the combination of these two and just find out what is the best possibility by averaging them. So we have I2, right? I2, click it or whatever. Like if you're doing the formula, you would just click it and then plus, click it and then close it off, divided by 2, and you would get this number. Now we have the average. And if I'm making multi lineups for the night, I'd prefer to use my own average projection here than either one of theirs. I take into all their factors that they do on both of their websites, and then I have my own average projection. And I'll either use this just straight up as my projection and maybe tweak it later if I like or don't like something. Or you can, do things like, all right, here, let me insert. All right, let's just say I wanted to do something like, all right, I want to find out what like a projection with the matchup, with the easy matchup would be. So I'll do this times that. And this isn't going to be a great indicator, but it's just a factor you can do for yourself. So let's bring this down. And this is just, testing if you wanted to know something. So we have this here. Let's just make sure it's formatted. Bang. So I just made a very, very basic projection based on good matchup. And this is obviously not right because you have a -10 here. That's just not going to come out the way you want. But that's how you would figure things out, is just trying, I want to see what this number comes out. And if you find you have a decent metric that shows good performance, whether you're doing it based on minutes, usage, floor, ceiling, consistency, or previous games, whatever you do, make sure you don't have wildly volatile numbers like this. So if you look, the matchup numbers over here, they look a lot better, a lot more of a smaller window, I guess you would say, than, you know, these regressions. You have someone plus 11, someone minus 12. So this statistic ended up not being incredibly useful, but it can point out something like, so if I see this or this, then it's obvious that they're going to do pretty well. And if I remember correctly, Paul George actually went on a nice little run after New Year's, before slowing down again. And it looks like CJ McCollum, I predicted that he was going to do bad, and he hasn't done well lately. So, I mean, these are just, you know, this is a while ago, but it's very basic, very quick. And this is what I put together. So hopefully you guys got a lot out of that. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. I'm done with the Excel portion. So I'm looking in the chat right now. What were the two websites? Basketball Monster. So Basketball Monster. These are sites that have, you know, statistical information and stuff, and you could build lineups based off it. It's just different things that people use. You have to have subscriptions though. The other one was Fantasy Cruncher. This is actually one of the coolest websites around. I don't remember who exactly it is that runs this. I think his name's like Oreo or something like that. But if you go to Lineup Rewind, and this is how I back test my trends. So anybody who's watching who wants to know how to back test your Fantasy Lab trends, this is a little something that I have in the back pocket for back testing. So if you're listening and you want to know what I mean by when I say make sure you're back testing, I don't just look at past results from the Fantasy Labs website. I'll go in here and look at, let's say I want to look at Tuesday's slate. You can go in and it shows you all the exact same numbers that it had for its projections and everything for that night. So if you wanted to, let's say, go back and figure out like, all right, well, I was really on Carmelo Anthony this night. You know, he scored 44 points. How come I didn't pick him? If I locked him into my lineup, what would have happened? So let's just do that and just check it out, right? So we lock Carmelo into all 15 of these lineups we wanted to make, and then right here you would just see what the actually my boy CG has his own crazy projections in here. So if you see, everyone's projected for like 50 or more. But if you have it where it's the regular projections, so let me just go in and delete all those. And those are just custom metrics that he made himself that he likes to look at. And if you don't know, CG is CG of Daily Roto Sharks. That's my boy over there. So we would go in, lock Carmelo Anthony in, and let's just see how our lineups would have performed. So on FanDuel that day, if we just wanted to lock Carmelo Anthony in and no one else and use Fantasy Cruncher's just original projections, we would have came out with a 301 on the first lineup, a 302, 301 on the second lineup. It looks about 301 in all of them. This probably would have been a decent night. There's 300 in every single one of these lineups. So no matter what, if you just locked Melo in that night, that one person, you would have done very well in cash games, no doubt. Unless it was the night where it was like 320 minimum to cash in cash games, and then you're gonna have a problem. Daily Fantasy Nerd, decent projections. Yeah, I like Daily Fantasy Nerd. I have them in my my favorites. Daily Fantasy Nerd is dope too. Yeah, they have an optimizer. It's free. It's pretty cool. One thing I'd really like to show you guys is DFS Gold. Now, the owner of this website, I was actually talking to last night for a while. He's awesome, cool guy. He's really, really helpful, and he reached out to me, and I really appreciate it. I tout him all the time. I always recommend his website. they kill it over there. I just found out they were Bluff magazine, which was like one of the largest poker magazines in the country, and now they're really starting to take the DFS world over by storm. They show you the best lineups from the previous day, as well as all the contests, what it took to cash. To win it. To cash and to win it, who won it, and how many entries they had, as well as who won the most money that day, what the top lineup was, who the player. So they aggregate all of this data. This is great stuff. But he just informed me that they have a new optimizer. So their cheat sheet, first of all, is great, right? So let's just move this out of the way. Their cheat sheet is great. It has DVP overall and the home and away DVP, which is something that not many people have out there. Shows you the average fantasy points for the season, last four, and versus opponent. This is some information that RotoQL has, like their kind of stuff. They go a lot more in depth, but this is great for free. So they show you the average minutes from over the last four and their last four games. This is great. You can select a couple of players. So let's say we just wanted to do Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant on DraftKings and lock them in. We would click there, and then let's just see. I just found out about this last night, so I really haven't used it yet. But if you want to use this lineup, I guess go ahead. This is Westbrook and Durant locked into DFS Gold's optimizer on DraftKings. I'm not playing on DraftKings, so I really don't care if you guys see this. I don't know if this will be good, but it looks like, I don't mind Josh Richardson, punt, David Lee, punt, Len, punt, tragic revenge game. Tucker's in a decent spot. Patty Mills, I don't like ever touching, but if it's a blowout, they could get some runs. So I don't know, that's okay. But what is the best part of DFS Gold that I have used personally? If somebody is out and you want to know how the players around that team perform when that player is out, you use DFS Gold. NBA Wowie is great, but it only shows you when a player's off the court, so they could just be resting. They could have played that game. But DFS Gold shows the best with and without information. So if you want to know, you don't have to go straight to the website, but you can do this. So let's say who do we want to know? All right, guys, name someone real quick that you want to know if they're out, who's going to benefit. And then we'll go back to that, and I'll check it out for you. Showed you that. We showed you that. Okay. Let's see. What else can I just show you real quick? StatMuse is excellent. It's free. You just make an account. You can ask anything you want. So let's say Stephen Curry FanDuel per game at Madison Square Garden, listed by game. If it gets going. Sometimes their queries take a while. All right, looks like no one really wants to know about the DFS Gold, so I'll show you anyway. If Stephen Curry is out, he goes Curry, DFS Gold. Easiest way to do it. Did not play analysis. Now, I'm a FanDuel guy, so go here. Then it shows you all this different kind of information. So he's missed 3 games. With him, they score 229 per game. Without, 209. So they have a plus minus of -9 when he doesn't play. So that affects the whole team. Their defense versus position, for some reason, when he goes out, small forward worse. So like you don't want to play small forwards against them when Curry's not there for whatever reason. But it shows you the players that benefit the most from him being out by fantasy points, what they have with him, what they have without him. So if there's an increase, it'll show you plus percentage points. I like to look at the minutes mostly. So Harrison Barnes, it seems like he plays a lot more minutes when Curry's out. So maybe that's why this small forward number is like that. So or I guess they both play more. Harrison Barnes and Iguodala both get a little bit more run, but Iguodala seems to get the least amount of run. Ian Clark gets the most percentage-wise, so he goes up from 9 to 22. So this is definitely a good way to look at it. And if you want to know a little bit more information based on players when they're on and off the court, you can go to NBAWowie.com. NBAWowie.com. I want to know what happens when, let's see, I got one. I got a good one that always happens. Always happens. Sure, you know who. Right. This is a lot more in-depth information. So you can go here. When he's not on the court, Ryan Anderson is the absolute #1 beneficiary. 834 minutes when he's off the court compared to the next in 520. The units that the team uses when he's not there, Alex Ahinka usually starts with Anderson at the 5. Alex Ahinka goes to the 4. Norris Cole and Drew Holiday both start. So when Davis is out, don't just look for Anderson. Look for both of these guys because they both get a lot more run. So these are definitely ways to look for it. You can look at ball handling, how many possessions, rebounding. There's a lot of cool stuff here. Opponent, fantasy. This is great. You got the fantasy per minute. So Drew Holiday and Tyreek Evans have benefited the most with Davis out. I don't really care about Ahinka, but Anderson, he definitely does well. So this is a good way to look at things. Hopefully I can give you guys more information in the future. Hopefully you learn from this, and please share it. Please tell everybody you know about the page. Please show a lot of love.